Brilliant. Real pick-me-up song, I think. Do you like Groovers in the Heart on BBC Radio Bristol? Going to talk about art. It should be for anyone and everyone. It might not always feel like it's the case. Yeah, it's one of those things. I remember being at school and not being able to draw. And I got Tony Hart's book, Anyone Can Draw, to kind of try and help me, inspire me, influence me. I was still rubbish, to be honest with you. And I would never share any of my artwork. Not that there is any to share. But it may well be for you that you loved art when you were at school, but it's been a long time since you picked up that paintbrush or tried your hand at drawing again. And it's one of those things whereby you think, oh, do you know what? It isn't quite what it says it is. But that doesn't really matter. I've got people to talk to who want to change that perception. Amy Powell from Cottam set up Bristol Art for All. It's an art club designed for people over the age of 50. There is an exhibition, Art from Lockdown, featuring artwork from artists who are in their 70s and 80s. And it's part of celebrating Age Festival with Age UK. It's a month-long festival challenging stereotypes and recognising the contribution of older people in society. So Amy is with me, so too Rod from Fish Ponds, who is a member. Good afternoon, Rod.
Hello, how are you, Jonathan?
I'm very well, thank you very much. We'll come to you in just a second, Rod. Hang on there. And Amy, good afternoon, sorry. Amy, hello.
Hello, Jonathan. It's Amy. Hello.
Yes, no, it's great to have you there. What was the inspiration behind Art for All?
Well, Bristol Art for All started a year after I graduated from my fine art degree, and I wanted to make being an artist more accessible for people. And so that was the initial inspiration. And I ran face-to-face art classes for 4 years before lockdown. And then after lockdown, what I've been doing has been online. But it's really to make things accessible for people, because art education is now so expensive that a lot of people can't do it. And I felt that at uni, the best thing was being in the studio and making art with other people. And I felt that you don't need a degree to be in the studio and make art with other people. And you don't even need a studio to make art with other people.
Quite. Just any space. I mean, when people are drawing a scene, they don't have a studio, just an easel, or not even that sometimes. So from that point of view, just thinking about art and accessibility, it may not even be the fact that art is accessible or not. The accessibility part for me is thinking you're any good at it or not.
Yeah, and I think that's what's been the real focus of the art club, has been that it's a process of making and enjoying the process of making. And that by enjoying the process of making, people get better and people learn more skills. But if people don't enjoy it, then they don't develop. And I think that's what we really drummed home with in the art class, and that's what we all value in the art class, because we all show our artwork, whether we're happy with it or not that day. But it's because we're all involved in the process.
Yeah, I used to hate having to do that, Amy, at school, show artwork, because if you're not good at it, it is quite difficult. So how do you help people overcome those barriers, and how do the people taking part overcome those barriers?
Well, I think it's a matter of just learning to trust each other and to trust the group, and to really understand that actually it takes time to develop skills, and it takes time to develop a style. And the artists in the art club now have developed skills, and they have developed styles, which people will see when they see the exhibition. But it just does take time. And so some of the artists had painted before coming on the art club. All they had was the art materials they had left over from their grandchildren. So really they started with those, and then they started buying new art materials, and then they learned as they went.
Well, one of your members is Rod in Fish Ponds. Good afternoon, Rod. Thanks for coming on and talking to us. What was your art like and artwork like before you started with Bristol Art for All?
Apart from pencil drawings, Jonathan, it was rubbish. I'd never done colour before, so this was a big experience.
And what was it like, sort of dipping your toe into that chilly water?
Remarkably uplifting, as it turned out. So these things sort of came naturally, I guess. Yeah.
And how did Amy help you?
Well, Amy is always there to answer questions and even go online if she hasn't got the answer in front of her. And she decides the subject in consultation the week before. And so we come along and we have 2 weeks then to develop that theme. and it goes from there.
And
It's fairly open. I mean, there's no hard and fast rules. It just goes.
And how did you find, showing your drawings with other like-minded people, and what's the social aspect like of the group?
Well, they're all very supportive, and I hope that I am too. So whether they were saying with tongue-in-cheek, "Oh, that's great, doesn't matter. It's a pat on the back, and you just get on, and you felt better about what you're doing, even if you weren't thoroughly convinced.
Amy, do you think Rod is being a bit too harsh on himself, saying he was rubbish before he joined you?
Yeah, well, Rod has always produced really great work, and he's just gone in leaps and bounds, and really doing quite challenging things now. Really, since the exhibition, everyone's gone up a gear.
Well, there we are.
Really doing much more challenging, very, very interesting technical work that Rod's doing now with colour and composition. It's brilliant.
So, art, art. Rod, you're pushing the boundaries. What sort of art are you doing? What sort of things are you creating, Rod?
Oh, I guess nothing terribly special, but I do have a large collection of transparencies from way back, and whenever a subject came up where something fitted, right, I picked out the transparency, copied it on the smartphone, and get on with the job.
Indeed. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to just break for a song, and then we'll talk a bit more about how you got involved, Rod, and also the exhibition as well, because that's really important to showcase this work. And it's being showcased at a fantastic venue in Bristol as well. We'll get more on that as well. Amy and Rod, my guests from the Bristol Art for All Club. More on the way. Kylie and Years for Years, first on BBC Radio Bristol. I've got 3 slots for 3 songs. You can't have all 3, but you can have one of 3 before 1 in our 3 to 1. Choose a song, give your lunch a bit of a kick. 08000 855 949 to call in with a song. Text 81333 Bristol, the start of the text, which is charged your network standard rate. John.d at bbc.co.uk. It is Jonathan Ray, being John Darwell today, by the way, talking about art. And it should be for anyone and everyone. Sometimes it may not be the case, or certainly doesn't feel that way, and there are accessibility issues. Dealing with that, Amy Powell from Cotton set up Bristol Art for All. It's an art club designed for people over the age of 50, and there is an exhibition, Art from Lockdown, featuring artwork from artists who are in their 70s and 80s, part of celebrating Age Festival with Age UK. So we'll give you a bit more about that shortly. One of the members of the art club is Rod from Fishponds. Rod, good to talk to you again. Thanks very much for hanging on, because I'm interested to know, I can see that this has been really beneficial to you. You said that you went along to the art club and that your work was sort of rubbish in comparison to what you are now, although Amy might dispute that. But how did you find yourself at the art club in the first place?
My dearest wife from 44 years last April, sorry, and the GP surgery suggested as an active therapy that they get in contact with Age UK. And that resulted in me being put into teleconferencing weekly on history and culture, also a weekly call from a befriender, and joining a walking group subject to lockdown, and then art by Zoom. And here we are there.
I'm sorry for your loss, Rod, and I'm just thinking about going through that process, especially during lockdown and the circumstances. It's very easy to fall into a difficult spiral, but clearly what was being suggested were things that kept your mind and your body active.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, they're brilliant.
And so how has art helped you through this process? And do you sometimes sort of find some of maybe your thoughts and your feelings and emotions over the past 18 months and indeed 40 years and more, do you find that sometimes manifesting itself in your work?
Hasn't got to that stage yet, Jonathan. No, we've been on fairly ordinary subjects, if I can put it that way. going from still life through beach scenes and landscapes and all of these sorts of things. But just being engaged in these things, searching out the topic, putting together all of the ideas, getting all of the materials in place, and getting up to go has been an amazing thing. Plus, you don't only spend an hour and a half a week in the class on Zoom, but you feel you have to put in more before and after the class to make sure that you're going to finish the thing by the following week. So there's a time limit there, of course.
And I mentioned Amy Powell, who set up the Bristol Art for All. It's amazing to hear Rod's story. Is this typical of the people that have joined the club, Amy?
Yes, because when we were going to do art classes online, we're like, well, who's going to be coming to these sessions? But actually, we found that people came who would have struggled to get to a face-to-face art class, even outside of lockdown. So we've got one woman who's in her 80s and she's quite disabled now, and actually she used to do a lot of watercolour classes, but because you can access it through her iPad, she's now painting every week and painting in between sessions. Like Rod said, a lot of them do paint in between sessions. And there's another guy whose wife's got dementia, quite advanced dementia, and he's been caring for her, and it gives him a space to make his own time, and he can do it at home, and she's there, and he knows she's okay, and it's given him a space to make art when he would have struggled to have got to a session as well.
And did you expect these kind of results, Amy? I mean, it's not art therapy, but it's art as a kind of therapy.
Yeah, I think it's art. I think it's more art for well-being, but I think developing a new identity for yourself is a very powerful thing, and I think the people in the class are starting to see themselves more as artists, and the way they are thinking, the way they're working. Like Rod said, he puts a lot of time into thinking what he's going to do, and he prepares himself. You know, I turn on the call and what are we doing today? And everyone knows what they're doing and they're ready to go. And that's really important. And I think also the exhibition's been a big step in that as well, because for some people it's the first exhibition they've been in. And to see their artwork on the walls, and we're thinking about how we're going to sell the work and what we're going to price it at, and all these things we're sort of grappling with now.
And Rod, just tell us about your well-being, since joining the club.
I think it's picked me up no amount. It's been a great boost to morale and to sense of achievement as well. So it's all there. It's something that I wouldn't go back on. It's moved forward from this point.
Now, when we come and see your work, Rod, what will we see that you've created? What can we look at that will have your signature underneath? Rod?
Sorry, Jonathan.
Sorry,
I ran across the room to collect my list.
Sorry, okay.
What you will see, and I regret this one, is a self-portrait in pencil.
Oh, Rod, don't regret it. You look fabulous.
I'm a bit too recognisable, unfortunately. You will also see a carafe and a wine glass half full. You will see a copper jug with all of the reflections. And you will see a scene of Durdle Door in Dorset. The last three of these are in acrylics. And also in the rolling screen there where they put some extra works up. There is the Nualangi Rock from Kakadu in Australia, and there is Heron Island beach scene from Australia. And yes, but
wow.
I'm only one of several people that have got some fascinating things there.
No, you sound like you've got a bursting and bulging portfolio as it is, Rod. What you've done as well, Amy, is you've selected a place to display this work. It's an amazing place, actually. John Wesley's New Room Cafe is such a lovely location for this kind of thing.
Yeah, it's been brilliant. It's been absolutely brilliant because it's got disabled access, which is great. It's got tea, it's got cake, it's great, it's lovely and light, it's lovely and open. It's got a nice sense of space. Like when we had the private view, some of the people were a bit worried about, meeting up as a group, and actually there's a lot of space, which is really nice. And they've been so supportive, and we actually contacted them and said, oh, look, we're going on the radio on the 26th. Is there any chance we can extend the exhibition? They said, yeah, have it on till the end of the year.
So is that happening? Is that happening?
Yeah, so it's going on to the end of the year. So the 31st of December will be the last day to see it. But
wow.
Yeah, that was great because it was only supposed to go up for a month, and actually it's going to be up for free.
Wow! Now, just finally, Amy, what's your message? Because you must you must get a sense of pride, and your heart must glow when you hear the endorsements of people like Rod, for example. So, what's your message to people who do find there are issues with accessibility and want to get involved?
I think the thing is really just the power of having a go and the power of suspending judgment, really, and just everyone has to start somewhere, and if you enjoy the process, you will get better, and that's sort of the catchline. Like through making art, we become artists, and it's through doing it that things change and things develop, and you never know what's going to happen. We didn't know we were going to be having this exhibition, and we don't know what's going to happen beyond this exhibition. So it's really exciting.
Well, Amy, it's really lovely. Thank you so much for being on and sharing this afternoon, I should say. And finally, Rod, just what's your word? You are kind of like not a service user as such, but you are a member of the club, and you take guidance from Amy. What's your message to anybody who may find accessibility issues with art?
Join us. One thing that Amy does is she puts up 2 or 3 days before each session some representative artwork online, so we can scroll through and look at all sorts of different possibilities. That's brilliant. Join us.
No, absolutely. Thank you so much. It's really lovely to catch up with both of you and hear your stories. Thank you very much. And good luck with the rest of the exhibition as well. That's excellent. Amy Powell, who created Bristol Art for All, and also Rod in Fishponds, who's a group member. Oh, by the way, Amy, you still with us?
Yeah, can I just give you some details?
Yeah, go on. I was about to say, give us some details, yeah.
So Age UK Bristol have a Facebook group and a website, and their telephone number is 0117 929 7537. So that's for Age UK Bristol. And if you want to find out more about the other work I'm doing, it's Bristol Art for All at bristolartforall.com. So Bristol Art for FOR all.com, bristolartforall.com.
Okay, Amy and Rod, thank you so much for your time on BBC Radio Bristol, and great to hear stories as well. And if you get a chance to support, great news is the exhibition is ongoing for an extra couple of months, due to finish this weekend. You can go and see it at the John Wesley's New Room Cafe on the Horse Fair in Bristol till the end of the year.